Everyone always makes a big deal about the woman's role in pregnancy. You know, she struts around, you know, she has the baby inside her. And how about the man's role? Could it be that the man has a deeper role, more unconscious role? Well, as it turns out, always remember that the seed develops within the man previous to his intercourse. It actually develops 72 days in the brain up here where the tefillin is before it's emitted. But now it was brought to my attention that 40 days before the emission of the seed into the woman, a heavenly voice proclaims, that's while the seed is within the man, a heavenly voice proclaims within that seed, to that seed, what that child will be like. What like the personality will be like and what it will do. To me, that sounds like the Zelem. I know outside the Zelem is 30 days, you know, leaves previous. But maybe the timing's different within, before creation, so to speak. And especially since it's in this area of the mem, which is the water, and it's the seed itself. So, 40 days before that seed is emitted, this heavenly voice proclaims about that seed. So I was thinking, what is it that's 40 days before? You know, Mount Sinai is 40 days and everything, but on the 1st of Elul, we start the shofar. This shofar is done, and then for 30 days and Rosh Hashanah, and these are the days of the shofar, and then on Yom HaKippurim is the culmination of these 40 days, when the Kohen Gadol goes into the Kodesh Kodeshim, and this is the intercourse into the Holy of Holies. And what could Holy of Holies be except this intercourse? "40 days before is the 1st of Elul, the days of repentance." Why? Because that heavenly voice comes and proclaims what that seed's going to be in life. And it's up there in the shofar area. You know, that's beyond words. It's sound. And that's the masculine area. It's the shofar, the horn of the ayil. And an interesting gematria here is that Hevel is 37, plus 3 is 40. And Hevel is the personification of the ram's horn. And here's something else. 280, again, let's use this shofar. 280 are the 5 dinim, which everybody knows, the 5 final letters. The letters that are 5 final letters comes out to a gematria of 280. And that's the par of the shofar. And we usually use the first two letters as Shin Vav as 306, and then they say with the 14 perics of the Yad, it comes out to be 320, which are considered the hard dinim and the first day of Rosh Hashanah and Leah, as opposed to the second day of the softer dinim and the 280 dinim of Rachel. But we have something else here. We have something else, because if we add 40 days to the 280 of the days in the womb, which that seed that is experiencing from the man is still experiencing in the womb. The male still has a linkage, zika, a tie-in to this area, but his started 40 days before. So if you add the 280 to the 320, to the 40 to the 280, because those are those 40 days before the seed is emitted, we get 320. And those are the hard dinim. And that's the first part of the shofar. 320 and 280. So the first part of the shofar is the male aspect of this Priya Varivya, of this child. And the second aspect is the woman's aspect of the child. 320 is 280 plus 40, and that's how long it takes for the male. He has a deeper, unconscious linkage. These two, 320 and 280, come together as 600, which is a final mem. This final mem is the womb itself, and is the surrounding light above everything else. This 600, which is a 40, and when you look at it like this, Hevelim, Hevel is 37 plus 3 is 40. So in Kohelet, the 7 Hevelims are 280. And that's the time in the womb. The male, I've always been interested in the male's role in a pregnancy. Instead of making the big only deal about the mother, let the male understand his position. It's a deeper, unconscious position, unwritten about. When it comes out, then it comes out as the bris, and that's obviously male. But when it stays in, it's not. When it's inside, then the real role is, they think, to the mother because of the umbilicus. And then when it comes out, there's no link for the rest of your life to the umbilicus. And these juxtapositions are what have to be analyzed. Are these final words on these juxtapositions? No, I'm just throwing them out, because you haven't heard these things before. So I want you to analyze it for yourself. What I'm telling you is that the Zelem inside the womb, before the womb, inside the body of the man, 40 days before emission, personality of that seed is being formed, being linked to a Zelem. Remember that the word Zelem is Zadok, Lamed, and then final Mem. Zel, which is 120, and then the Mem. And these are just relationships. And I think that Mem, at 40, is what we're talking about when it's 40 days before the emission of the seed. And that emission of the seed comes on Yom HaKippurim. When again, the Kohen Gadol, the male, goes into the Holy of Holies. After he's prepared himself, so to speak. He's prepared himself by sound, he's prepared himself by everything. And then 7 days before, he goes in, gets separated. And they watch him to make sure he doesn't emit a seed. Because that seed is primed from the first of Elul. It's primed from the shofar. It's primed from the Akedah of Yitzhak and Abraham. It's primed from the Ayil and its horn, its shofar. It's primed from Hevel and Hevelim in the Gan Eden. And that Hevel is 37, like a Yehidah. It's primed because within that Yehidah, there's going to be an Atzmut. And this whole thing is within the male, 40 days before. And it all comes out as a final mem, as 600, as the final square, as a cube in 3 dimensions. And this world up there is a cube, and inside it it's a big ball. And that's the 3 dimensions of the square, which is 2 dimensions, and the circle, which is 2 dimensions. In space, 3 dimensions is a cube and the ball. And these are the 2 letters in the Luchas that stay in miraculously. The 600 of the final mem and the 60 of the circle. And when we understand these relationships, we may get a sense of the role of a man and sometimes in intercourse itself and in pregnancy